Video we are going to create this file uploader. So we have five files here that we can upload at once. We can send them using a single object. So here you can see that we have file 4, file 1, file 3. So here, if I select file, so let's say I selected one file, it is giving us progress bar here, giving the progress bar on top. It completes here and it updates the object. Now, if I want to set any other, say let's say 4, I select another file here. It gives me the separate loader for that particular. And if you see the object here, it updated. Now file 1 has file and file 4 has file. So if I open it, you can see the file content as well. So here, file 4 is the untitled project.m4a file, and the size and all the properties are here. And the file 1 is sum.jsx, which is 4987 size. So this is how you can create a state, which single state will be working on it, and it is going to be a function which will a single function which is going to deal with each of this file upload. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so let's get started. I have here the brand new React application, and if I say in source folder, I have only index.js, which has nothing but the basic code, as well as app.js, which just says let's get started. So here on the page you can see we are just saying let's get started, nothing else. Refresh it, it's the same. If I go to package.json, here we can, so here we have all the basic by default installed packages, nothing new I added here, so it's just the default settings for now. Right, so what I do, I close the package.json, and also I'm going to create a folder in source directory, and I'm going to call it components. And they're going to be a single component. I'm going to call it main.jsx. And then here, I'm going to do it, make it bigger. Now we have these 3 files, and we will be working with these 3 files. So first thing first, I need to go to the Chakra UI, click on Get Started. There they have this command. We need to run it. So let's copy this command, go back to your app. Here I'm going to simply stop it and run it. We need to let it install. Alright, the package is installed. Now what we need to do, we need to go back here, and I need to install this package as well, which is React top loading bar. So we need to copy this command. Okay, so paste it here, enter. Now that we need to let this package install as well. So now if I go to my package.json, we should have these 2 packages also included here. So you can see that we have the React top here. So I'm going to close this, and after that we will now going to start. So I'm going to make it a bit bigger. Here I'm going to say npm start, so that our application comes. Yes, the application is up now, and you can see here. So first thing first, we need to go back to the Chakra UI, and here what we need to do, we need to include the Chakra provider the same way they included it. So I'm going to copy this, go to our app, here in the app index.js. Alright, and this, so we're going to copy the import statement as well, so that goes on top. Okay, now it should be alright. And now if I go to, right, so in the main.jsx, first I'm going to put it down here. Here I'm going to say React functional component, and it is going to create this. Now we want to import this component here in our app. So here simply I'm going to call main. So it is going, alright, save it, go here. Now, so far in our app, we are getting the error. So here, I save this. Now we get the main there. That's all right. Okay, now in Chakra UI, what do we want to do? We want to search for table. So, because we have table layout, so first we need to set up the layout. So scroll down, you will see the layout of table, and there, this is the layout we are looking for. I'm going to copy this, go here. And in main here, I'm going to first, I'm going to break it to, I'm going to have a container. So I'm going to say here, and inside this container, we are going to put what code we just got. All right. And here we have table container. I'm going to remove that because we have our container, so we are not using table container. All right, now we need to, all right, so I imported all the components here and from the React Chakra UI. Now we go to the browser, we see it looks something like this. Now we want to move it a bit down. So here we can give some margin padding according to your needs. You can do that. So here in Chakra UI, when you give the padding, use it padding top, and then you pass the number in curly brackets. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pass margin top as well, and that's going to be 8, so that we have it bit down, as well as table. It's going to be small, so it's going to be the same like that. To convert, we want to have here file type, and then we have select file because we are creating multi-file select, so it's a select file. All right, and at last we're going to say progress, so progress. Okay, I copy these 3 because we have at the bottom as well, so I go at the bottom and then there I put the same way. And now if I go back to see my app, it looks a bit better. Now what do we want to do? We want to have a so now let's prepare each file line. So here what do? We go here, and here inside it, like this table row, this head, I'm going to close it. So this is the table row. I delete first 2 table rows simply. So we have only 1 now. I save it, go back, you can see it looks like this. Now here what I want to do. First thing first, here I'm going to say file 1, okay? And then inside the second TD, we want to input, which is going to be simple HTML input, but the type going to be file. There's going to be a function for it, and we can break it into a new line here on change. So when user selects a file, we want to fire some function. So I say here event, and then here I call the function. I say prepare file for upload. All right, and then here inside it I pass the event. Also I pass a flag, and what flag that is? That this is a file 1. So I say here file 1, okay, and I'm going to pass it as a string because I will be creating it for 5 files, but I want a single function which is going to handle all of those 5 files. I don't want to repeat it. It is going to be don't repeat yourself, so a single function will handle each file upload. All right, so now this is going to be our function. Now also we need to have a circular progress bar. So here if we go to Chakra UI, here I go to actually it's in their components, and then there it is, circular progress. We can have with the we can have this one with the percentage, so that we can see how much file is uploaded, or we can show the user that kind of thing. So here in the last one I'm gonna put that. All right, now here we need to import it. We need to add circular progress as well as in the Chakra import, and now it should be okay. So we have a progress. Now we will get an error for this function, so we need to create this function. So what I do first, here on top I go and create the function. Here I say constant this function, and simply I say here console.log, and in this function we are getting 2 things. We're getting event and the file type. All right, so what we can do, we can print it file type for now. That's it, nothing more fancy for now. All right, so this is the first row. Now let's see if I go back here, you can see that we have file 1, file upload button, and then the progress bar. Now what I want to do, I want to repeat this 5 times, and then we will start working on it. So here I'm going to copy this, and I'm gonna do it behind the scenes so that we won't waste much time. All right, so I added all 5 lines. So here we have file 1, upload, progress bar, file 2. If you see here, basically, if I go back here, each time when I added it, it's file 3. Then the flag we are passing in the function, it is file 3. Then here it's file 2. Then here for the function, I'm passing file 2. All right. So if I go here and inspect, and when we select any file, now what I do, I get a file 2, and here I select a file. When I select a file, it says file 2. Now when I get a file 4, I select a file, and then I get a file 4. So this is how it's working each time. So we are getting the flag correctly. So now if I see, now we want to create a state, and that state going to have multiple values for each file. So let's do that. So here, and then set progress. All right, so this is basically going to handle the progress for each file type. So how it is going to handle for each file type, because we're gonna have multiple values inside it, and then it's gonna be working. So it's file 1, it's going to be the first, and default value is 0. File 2, default value 0. Now we need use state as well, so use state is already there, so that's good. All right, so this is our state. The similar way, we need another state, because this is going to handle the progress bar, but we also want to deal with the file processing. So here we want to say set file content. So it's going to be file content like this. So now we are not using these states, so let's work with these states. So currently we have the file progress by default set to 0. Here by default everything is 40%. We don't want 40%, we want it dynamic. So what I do, I'm gonna set that to according to the state. So I go back here in each T row, like here for example, here first we have 40. We don't want 40 here, we want progress dot and the file, which file it is, the file 1. And the same, I'm gonna pass this just below it so that it works. I'm gonna add it for all. Alright guys, so behind the scenes I added it for all. Now it looks like this. So progress, circular progress, we have file 1, then file 1 here. I added parse int here and the string function just to show the full number, because in our percentage it should be a whole number, it shouldn't be floating number. So here that's what I'm gonna that's why I added this. Now again, if you see here, this is file 2, same way, progress.file2, progress.file2. Again, file 3, here we have file 3, same way file 4, and file 5 and file 5. Okay, so far so good. So we have function ready. We have on-chain this function will fire. We have the progress bar ready, so dynamically now it is going to show the value. Let's get started with the function here. First I want to create a state basically for the top loader, so that goes all through the page. State main. Alright, so what we want to do, I'm going to remove the console log. Here I'm going to say set. And here we want to set a progress, so I say progress main, and initially I'm going to set it to 0. Alright, so that's going to be the main progress. Then I say set progress. This is for each file upload. So here initially the object where we want to pass the progress, here I will say spread operator and then press progress, sorry. It's going to be progress. And then what value we want to pass. So for now, first of all, I'm going to pass the file 1. Okay, and I'll say that it's going to be 0, because if you're just starting here, so it is going to set the file 1 to 0. Okay, and after that, here we get, because we are getting the event, right? So on change of the button, so here on change of the button, we are getting event, and then this function fires. So here, that function, when gets the event, we can get the file from that event. So here I say constant, and that's going to be file, which is going to be is equal to event.target.files. All right, and here we want the file on 0 index. Okay, so here I say console.log, and here I want to see the file. All right, so if I go back here and I select the file, so you can see that we get the file. So file title, what is the name of the file, file format, file size, it's an audio file, MP4 file, everything, all the detail is here. So yeah, now let's go. So currently we are just getting the file and console logging it, but that's not what we want. We want to process it. So what I do, I say here, if file, then what do you want to do? So we can here, what do we want to do? I want to set an interval. So I say here constant interval. Okay, and this interval I want to because I want to show the loader, so that when we select a file, while it is selecting, it is going to take some time here. It is going to show user like something is happening, something in progress. So that's why we want to put an interval. So here we say interval, which is going to be equal to set interval here. All right, and in set interval, what we want is we want to do something in this case particular. So as we are setting the interval, we want to clear the interval as well. So we need to decide when we need to clear the interval, because when the interval gets cleared, we want to complete the progress bar. So in this case, if you see here, if I go and select the file, so we get the file size. Based on this file size, you can do some calculation, or you can make some kind of algorithm according to your requirements that will show the that particular set time which is required for file. But in my case, for this particular video, for maintaining it less, what I want to do is I'm going to get its first value, the first so if it's 33, it's a 37174. I will pick the first one, which is 3, and for that particular seconds I want to show the loader. So this file will be processed and put into the process for us, and it will show the progress for 3 seconds. So that's what we're gonna do. So what I'm gonna do here for that, I'm gonna put here another constant. I'm gonna call this stop after seconds, which is equal to file.size.toString. This is the JavaScript method, and then .char at. Now we are getting the corrector at, and on the 0 position we need. All right, so you can also check that it's going to be the first letter or first index value, whatever it is. It's going to pick that first corrector, and then it's going to give us. So it's for this particular file, it is 3, so it's going to be for 3 seconds. Now we have it. So what we say here, so that means we know there is a number. So initially it is going to be a number like 3 seconds. So if there is this number, which is stop after seconds, we want to do something. We want to say here, let progress now is equal to, let's do a calculation based on this. So what we do, we say here the percentage. So for that we say 100 and divided by stop after seconds. This is going to be the calculation. And after this we can say here set progress, because this set progress will be showing the loader, the circular loader that we have on the page. It will increase its value here. So for that we need to set this value here. So here what we want to do, we want to post the progress and the value. Now here I want to say again file. Currently I'm doing it for file 1. Later on I'll show you how to do it so that for each file it will work. So here file 1, and then we say progress. Or I copy paste it, whatever it is going to calculate, we're gonna pass it straight away here. All right. And the same way, when we are doing this, we wanna put set progress main, which is going to be the for top progress bar on the page here. So for that, we want to put this as well, because the bar of progress is going to be the same each time. So this, and when this happens, I want to decrease this each time. Okay, so each second, this stop after second should be decreased. So if it is 3 seconds initially, first time this runs, in first second, it will be 2 seconds next time. And second it will again decrease to 1, and at last it will be 0. So our progress will be 100 by divided by 0, and then in here it is going to be completed. All right, so that's what we're gonna do here as well. Here, what I say here, after when we are decreasing it, here we can say if stop after seconds is equal to 0. That means we are the file upload is complete for us. We want to show that kind of scenario there. So we can see here set file content, and there we can set the file content as well. So here spread operator, file content like this, comma, and then we want to put the file. So I say here file 1, and then I say what it is going to be. It is going to be file. Where this file is coming from, this is the file that we selected initially, the selected file. So we are just putting that file here. Now, one more thing important here is that we need to make sure we will be able to clear this interval. As we already setting the file here, at this point we can clear the interval. So here we can say clear interval, and we can pass the name of this interval, which is this one. So I copy this and put it here. All right, and I save this. Now there are two things need to correct. The stop after second should not be constant. We will be changing its value, so it's going to be let. Then the interval we have here, we haven't set the time right now, so we just set the time. It is going to be 1 second. So each second it is going to go and work. Okay, and let's see if it works. So now, first of all, let's see if the this loader works for us. So if I go here and select a file, you can see like 33, 50, and 100. It completes. Now, for the file top progress bar, I go back to the React top loader. Here, they show like how we can include it. Here, if I scroll down, there it is. I'm just gonna copy this. So here, we have container. On top of container, because I want it on the full page, I'm gonna open and put it inside it. And it's going to give us error because we need to put the container inside it as well. So I cut the container and put just below it like this. Okay, so now if you see, the structure will be like this. So our container inside and loader is on top. We also need to include it. So if I go here, let me as import loader from the. Now if I go down here, we can change its color. So if I want to, I can say here green. All right, and if I also want to set its height, and I want to give it the height of like 5, so that it's clearly visible for us. Now here it says progress. For this particular progress is not, we want to use progress main because that's the one we are using. So here I'm gonna put progress main. And as I'm using progress main, so set progress main with the function state change will be done by that. So we'll go here and put it here. Okay, so here it says on loader finish it will be 0 and the height is 5, and this is going to be based on. All right, so if I go back here and I refresh and I go and see, I select the file. Now you can see on top it is going the same way. It completes here, it completes there, and gives the same way. Now if I go to file 2 and do it, it is acting on the same one. Okay, it's working on the same one. Even if the file 3, So it will work on the same one. We don't want that. We want to set the files for each, and we want to get it separately, so that if once this is done, we will be able to get all the files in the backend in the server. So for that, what we need to do, we basically already checking the file type. So if we remember, we initially passed the file type. So if the file type basically decides here that we are dealing the file 1, so here file 1 it is, and then the file 2. So each time it is going to be different, so we can handle it accordingly. So here, now when I was making this function, I was passing it like file 1. Now we don't want to do that. We want to pass it like this array, and here we need to pass the file type. So I will pass it like this, file type. And then the same way, wherever we set file 1, here as well. So for loading as well as for file type. Now this should work. On top, the progress bar here, we need to put it as well. Now to see everything is working smoothly and we get all the files separately, I'm going to put here use effect. So I'm gonna say use effect, and then in use effect, what we're gonna do, we're gonna check that if the file changes, because when we select the files, we wanna see what is inside it. So here file content, I'm gonna put it into a dependency array. Here I say console.log and put the file content inside so that we can see what is happening. We need to import the use effect. Alright, we have use effect there as well. Now I save this file, and at last, once everything is finished, we should get a console log that we will be able to see like files are selecting properly. Alright, now it's the time we test it. So if I go here, and here I'm going to refresh, and here currently we have file object printing. So on use effect, initially when we render, it is printing file content. So it is, you can see here file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, all is 0 by default. So what I do, I select for first file here, I say, let's say this sum, okay, sum JSX, it's a file. You can see that progress bar completed 100%. Now we get an object, file 1, file. If I go open this, we get file 1, name sum.jsx. There is the modification, there is size given as well. Now I go to file 3, or any file you can say here. This time I select this file. We get the loader, it is fulfilling. Alright, now you see here, object printed, file 5, file 4, and file 2. They are still not 0. File 3 has a file, which is M4A file, last modified, and this is the size of it. So now you get the idea. We can select all the files one by one and have multiple files now, and at last we will have a single state, which is the file content that you can send to your backend, and there you can process. So you can convert the files into base64. You can do a lot of things that you want. You need to change the logic here if you want to make it more better, because currently if we talk about, I'm just picking the first number from the file size. So here the file size was 4987, so it picked 4, here 3, so it showed very quick, like 4 seconds and 3 seconds loader. If you want more, then you can put it accordingly. Now this is the way how you can show the user experience. You can increase it, and you can also set another loader. So when you click a button and send these files to the backend, then you might want to show the loader here again. That also can be very useful. Hope you like this. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe and share, and leave your comment. Thank you for watching. Bye.